Hey Tabor, it's Bo. It's time for your lesson. Did you wash your hands? Okay. And don't forget, you have to wash your hands. I got a buddy that's a CSI guy, and he can do a test on the guitar to find out if you really washed your hands or not. So make sure you wash your hands. And then, open 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you do this every day. It's a good drill. It's one of the practices that we have to do. The other one is 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4. Practice that every day. Hopefully you're doing well with the working man style lesson that we covered last week. What we're going to do today is this is going to be another strength drill. This is going to be another drill to get your fingers working. What you're going to do is you're going to take your guitar, you're going to get proper playing position, and then you're going to take your index finger, finger number 1, and what I want you to do is I want you to, with a downstroke on the open A string, play it, hammer on, and then slide from your B to your C sharp. And then experiment a little bit with some vibrato. Now there's whole different ways and different ways that people talk about using left-hand vibrato. Some people pull the string kind of in a downward motion. Some people will take and sort of hook their finger, almost forming kind of like a hinge. You have to figure out what's going to work for you. But what I want is every time that you do this, the same mechanics, but sometimes do it slow, sometimes do it fast. And what you want to do is do at least 10 even ones as far as the technique and the sound. You want them to sound good and clean. Finger number 1, then finger number 2. Do a slow one, do a fast one. But again, open on the 5th, hammer on the 2nd, move up to the 4th, and then that's when the vibrato happens. So you're hammering on, sliding up, and then vibrato. Same thing with the 3rd finger. Same thing with the pinky. And I want 10, what you would honestly say are really good ones in a row. So if you mess up on the 3rd one, got to start over. Do it with each one of the fingers. This is going to give you strength and accuracy. This is going to clean up your playing. It's going to be amazing what's going to happen to your lead playing, where we were talking about a musical conversation. Your strength with being able to hammer on, your strength with being able to be expressive with a note, your strength with being able to do slides, this will be really accurate. Also, what it's going to give you the ability to do is to do independent hammer-on. After you do the exercise that we've talked about, and if you do all these and do them correctly, watching this video, it's going to take you a good hour to do all this. If you do it, take your time and do it right. Wish I was there with you so we could play them together. But you'll be home soon, and then we'll be able to review all this stuff. The second part of today's lesson, I want you to make a G chord, but instead of making the G with your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string on that G note, I would like you to take your ring finger and put it on the D note, or the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Place your pinky behind it on the G note, 3rd fret of the 1st string. So you're going to have those 2 notes together. And you can put your pick down, and we're going to be using a plucking technique that we've talked about, where you're going to use your thumb to play strings and your first finger in an upward motion to play strings. That's the first part of it. Thumb, pluck. And what you want to do is you want to pluck across at least the first, second, third, and fourth strings. So you have this sound. Find your nice contact point on the guitar where you want to touch it with your hand to kind of anchor yourself. Because this doesn't require big hand movements. We're actually wanting to tighten this in so we have smaller hand movements. That way you're more accurate. So down, pluck. Now you're going to play the fifth string open. So you're going to pick up your index finger. The next note that is played is the fifth string open A. So now you're going to hammer on, pluck. And you can practice this one a little bit, back and forth for a few minutes. It'll have a nice little tick-tock kind of back and forth, very common country type pattern. The Eagles used it in some of their songs. So now, what I did, G note, upstroke, hammer on. Now I want to play the third fret of the fifth string, which is the C note. So what I'm basically doing is I'm playing a G, and then I'm transitioning to a C. That second pattern across the C, down, up, down, up, down, pluck, pluck, down, pluck. Playing patterns is very important in developing good meter. I've heard you sit down behind the drums and you have a good internal clock. You have a good sense of meter and rhythm. As a rhythm guitar player and a lead guitar player, having good meter and having the consistency between your notes is the most important thing. You don't have to be the flashiest guitar player in the world, but if you've got good meter and you're consistent in your playing, people want to play with you, and it makes you sound like a better player. This pattern that we're playing, once you anchor this pattern, you don't want it to move. We talked about patterns before. Pattern playing is one of the most important forms of playing. It anchors the song. And when people are listening to you, they notice notes that are missing. They notice when you break time, if you speed up, slow down. Those are the things that are noticeable. So when you lock that pattern, you're actually playing so people don't notice you, but that's what you want, because at the end of the performance, they notice you. Thumb pluck, hammer on, pluck. Then just pick up from the sixth and the fifth, move those fingers to the fifth and the fourth, and what you're doing is you are making a C note and you're adding a D and you're adding a G. So, and you can actually add a second hammer on, open A to open C. Once you get used to moving these fingers, see how we're doing an independent hammer on? We've got a chord. Independently, we're using this finger. Then, independently, we're using this finger if we want to hammer on the second time. pluck. Don't have to do big hand movements. Find a nice place that's familiar on the guitar to you so you can anchor your hand. That way you're not moving around, because this accuracy comes from not having to move your hand. If you're doing big, mess up. Big hand movements equal mistakes. See, kind of moving your hand around, all of a sudden it kind of messes with your pluck. But you've only got a few minutes every day. Hammer on to the slide, to the vibrato. I want it with all 4 fingers. Open 1, 2, 3, 4. 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 6th all the way to the 1st, and then go to your A. That's the 5th fret. 1, 4. These are your fingerings. 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. Try to practice this every day. If you don't have time to actually sit down and play the guitar for an hour or two, you got 5 minutes, please do these. I promise what we're doing is we're maintaining our calluses and we're building that dexterity with our fingers, because when you get back, praise band, you'll be working with Darren also, and having these finger skills and having that dexterity and that accuracy, everybody's going to really notice that you worked hard over the summer. All right, kiddo, just remember, text me if you need me. If you have any questions, call, text. I'm here to help you. Try to practice every day, and we miss you, and we'll see you soon, buddy.